Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you all for joining. We are in the Bhagavad Gita 18 chapter 18-day summary study program. We completed chapter 1. We are in chapter 2. Let me share my screen. Can everyone see my screen? Yeah. I also request that you can come share your videos and it can be more interactive. Anyone joining first time today? Okay. So we have the same group from yesterday. That's great. So we completed chapter 1. We'll quickly do a recap after chapter 1 and we'll go to chapter 2. And as I'll always, we'll start with a few prayers. And we read yesterday, right? Doing this Bhagavad Gita study, it's called Swadhyaya Yagna. So when we are studying any Vedic scriptures, it's very much beneficial. And if we are doing it in the month of Kartik, it's so much more beneficial. It is so beneficial that we will all not even come back to this material world for repeated birth and death. We will be able to break the cycle of samsara. So we'll start with a few prayers. Please say after me. Om Agnana
Om Agnana
Timirandasya
Timirandasya
Jnananjana
Jnananjana
Shalakaya
Shalakaya
Chakshur
Chakshur
Unmilitam
Unmilitam
Yena
Yena
Tasmai Sri
Tasmai Sri
Gurave Namaha
Gurave Namaha
Nama Om
Namo
Vishnupadaya
Vishnupadaya
Krishna Prestaya
Krishna
Bhutale
Bhutale
Srimate
Srimate
Bhaktivedanta
Bhaktivedanta
Swamin
Swami
Iti Namine
Iti Namine
Namaste
Namaste
Saraswati Deve
Saraswati Deve
Gauravani Pracharine
Gauravani
Gauravani
Pracharine
Pracharine
Nirvishesha
Nirvisesa
Shunyavadi
Sunyavadi
Paschatya Deshatarine
Paschatya Deshatarine
Deshatarine
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya
Jai Shri
Jai
Krishna
Shri Krishna
Chaitanya
Chaitanya
Prabhu Nityananda
Prabhu Nityananda
Nityananda
Sri Advaita Gadadara
Sri
Sri
Advaita
Advaita
Gadadhara
Sri
Gadadhara
Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Sri Vasadi Gaura
Vasadi
Bhakta Vrinda
Gauravakta
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna Hare
Krishna Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Hare
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 Hare Rama Hare Rama
Hare Rama Hare Rama
Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Rama Rama Hare Hare
We will say two more times all together. Put your all hands up. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you all. So, as always, we are dedicating this program to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of ISKCON, International Society for Krishna Consciousness, and he is the author of the book Bhagavad Gita as it is, the book we have been using for preparing the slides. And one of his disciples is His Holiness Jayapataka Swami, who is our spiritual master. And we are inspired to do this program based on his desire and instructions. And the Gita Mahatmya was written by Shankaracharya. There are 8 verses. Yesterday we read one verse. Today we are going to read one more verse. Anyone wants to read the verse and translation?
गीताध्यायन शिलास्य प्राणायाम परस्य च नैव शान्ति हि पापानि पूर्वजन्मकृतानि च. If one reads Bhagavad Gita very sincerely and with all seriousness, then by the grace of the Lord, the reactions of his past misdeeds will not act upon him. Right?
Jai. So we we all know about the concept of karma because we have been coming from the Indian background with some understanding of the Hindu philosophy, Sanatana Dharma philosophy. So a lot of people will not be able to explain unless you have the concept of karma, that why bad things are happening to good people and good things are happening to bad people. But we know that there is the concept of karma, and the past sinful reactions are the ones that are coming to us, and either it is good things or bad things. But if we read this Bhagavad Gita, all the reactions of misdeeds, the papa that we did in the past, will not be acted upon us. That's the benefit. Okay, so we completed chapter 1. We will do a quick recap. Chapter 1 started with Dhritarashtra's inquiry and his anxiety. What did he say? Dharma kshetre kurukshetre. So the Bhagavad Gita starts off with the word dharma, and it revolves around uh, establishing what is our real dharma. Dharma, anyone knows what the meaning of dharma is?
Righteousness.
Righteousness, any other things?
Dharma.
We say Sanatana Dharma. What does it mean? Sanatana means
Ancient.
eternal. Ancient means past, but eternal means it is always there. And what is that is always eternal? That dharma.
Dharma.
So the dharma, people will translate it as religion, but it's not religion. It is a duty. So what is the duty that every person, every living entity has to follow eternally, whether they are born in this yuga, previous yuga, later upcoming yugas, or in this planet or a higher planet? What we have to follow is called Sanatana Dharma. And that Dharma, it can be there is no actual English word with the exact meaning of Dharma. When we say Dharma, we have to refer to it as Dharma, but loose meaning is duty or occupation or way of life, just like everything we can say. So that Krishna, the Dhritarashtra is asking that in the place of Dharma, why is Kurukshetra called Dharma Kshetra? Anyone knows? Kshetra means field of activity, right? And Kurukshetra is where the King Kuru did the tapasya or austerity, and he got a blessing from Lord Vishnu. What is that blessing?
બેટા ભયું પણ હવે કરે છે ચલ તું પણ કરી લે ઓકે તે ચોટી કરી દઉં
So what is that blessing? The blessing is any activity that you do in that place called Kurukshetra, Dharma will always win. So that's why it is called Dharma Kshetra. So there is no doubt that anyone who does any activity in Kurukshetra, it will be righteous. It means righteousness will win always. Okay. And there is also not only enquiry, but there is anxiety in the Dhritarashtra, because he's saying, oh, my sons and sons of Pandu, they assembled in the place of pilgrimage, desiring to fight, because he knows that Dharma will win in that place, and he knows that his sons are not uh, following the Dharma. So the anxiety is there in his voice. And what does Arjuna say? He looks at the armies on both sides and he says, first he asks Krishna to take him to the middle of the battlefield, and then he says, looking at both sides, he throws off his arrow and he says, he sits down on the chariot and his mind is overwhelmed by grief. What are the reasons? And he says he doesn't want to fight. What are the reasons he gives for not wanting to fight? First one is compassion.
Passion.
He doesn't want to kill anyone in the first place. Most of the people are his sons and grandsons on either side. And if people are killed, what is the point of ruling the kingdom only by himself or his family members? There is no enjoyment in there. There is a sphere of sinful reactions, because he thinks that if killing a human being is a big sin, then he will get papa, like the bad sinful reactions. Then the destruction of family we discussed, right? If the soldiers die, the woman becomes widows, and then they'll society will take advantage of them, and there'll be a chance of Varna bad population that arising from there. And finally, the indecision. That is what we all face. Arjuna doesn't know what is better, conquering the enemy or being conquered by them. Every time, every step of the way in our life, we always come across this scenario. Is it better to fight for the things what we think that we own, or if somebody is encroaching upon us, is it better to leave the fight and leave it to the Supreme Lord, right? So those things. And can we all relate to Arjuna here?
Yes.
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 Yeah. So first and foremost, if we want Krishna to speak to us through Bhagavad Gita, we have to take Arjuna as our role model and we have to step into his shoes. Means we have to always think in that direction, like rely on Krishna. Arjuna will see in chapter 2 what he does when faced with indecision, what we face in our day-to-day life because of all the difficulties and anxieties we have. If we do what Arjuna does, then Krishna will speak to us. Arjuna went and surrendered to Krishna, which we will see in chapter 2. And similarly, if we surrender to the Supreme Lord, then Supreme Lord will reveal to us and give his instructions. Any questions before we move to chapter 2?
No.
Okay. So chapter 2 is contents of the Gita summarized, means whatever we are going to read for the next few or for the rest of the Gita, Krishna touches every topic in here. So that's why it's called content of the Gita summarized. We will see what is described in here. Yeah. So let's say we face indecision in our life. Forget about surrendering to the Supreme Lord for now. What do we generally do? So kids, if there are any kids in the class, if they have a question or a doubt, what do they do? What do you do?
We advise them. Teachers advise them what to
The
do.
kids approach the parents, right?
Right. Parents or
Because,
teachers.
yeah, or the teachers.
Yeah.
Why?
Because they know better than the students.
Yes, yeah. So let's say adults also, if we run into a problem, we don't know what to do, what do we generally do?
We
Figure it out on your own.
We approach
we
our
s- elder person
elders, parents,
or
or close friends.
or
So
whoever
what?
already experienced those things.
Yes. Who do we call them? What do we call them? We call them well-wishers
Correct.
because they know what is good for us and what is bad for us. And we might be focused, we might be in a mode of anxiety, we might not be thinking everything, but our elders have seen us grow from childhood. They know our nature. They know what is good for us. They know our capabilities, our capacity, and our weaknesses, everything. And the first and foremost is they should be our well-wisher, means they want to do good to us. It could be a friend also, a close friend who is very much trustworthy. So what we do if we go there and if we approach them, then they will give us the right things, which is very much applicable to us. So in here, Arjuna, who did he approach?
Krishna.
Krishna, because Krishna is
His friend.
more than a friend, he is a well-wisher. So, yes.
Teacher.
So, and when we approach our well-wisher, what is the mood in which we approach? Do we generally go and say, hey, dad, or hey, mom, I'm in this trouble, you help me? Hey, friend, like, or do we say, hey, I'm in this trouble, can you please help me? Do you request them or do you pass orders to them?
Request.
Request.
Yeah, because if you want to help someone for you to help, you approach them in a very nice mood. You don't approach them in a whimsical mode. What is whimsical means? You don't go to them and approach like namesake. Okay, you ask for advice, they seriously give you the advice and you just don't take the advice. That's called whimsical. Means then what is the point of approaching them? So we have to approach them in all seriousness. So those are the things Arjuna does here. That is mentioned in 2.7. Anyone, maybe you can repeat after me. Karpanya dosho pahata swabhava
Arpanya dosho pahata swabhava
पृच्छामि त्वां धर्मसम्मूढचेता
Chami dharma
धर्मसम्मूढचेता
यच्छ्रेयस्यान् निशितं ब्रूहि तन्मे
यच्चेयः स्वान् नित्यं तान् मे
शिष्यस्तेऽहं साधिमां त्वां प्रपन्नम्
शिष्यस्तेऽहं साधिमां त्वां प्रपन्नाम्.
Anyone wants to read the translation?
Yeah, sorry.
Now I am confused about
Come here, jaldi.
duty
Copy.
and have lost all for because of
Is it a copy?
me
You can also do. Kids can do.
severely weakness. In this condition, I am asking you to tell me for a certain what is best for me. Now I am a disciple and the soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me.
Jai, what is your name?
Rishik.
Abhishek? Yeah, thank you for reading.
No,
Rishik Prabhu.
Rishik.
Oh, Rishik.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so in here Arjuna is saying he is overcome by karpanya. Karpanya means that miserly weakness, the symptoms that we have seen, that he is overtaken by all those trembling of his body, not losing composure and everything. And in that, what did he do? He also did not know what is yet Shreya. Shreya means what is beneficial for him. Yesterday we touched on the topic like what is two types of benefits are there. One is the pleasure that we get right away. It's called Preya. And the benefit that we get in the long run, permanent benefit is Shreya. So Arjuna is asking what is really the long-term benefit. The short term is, he has to fight, but he doesn't know what is it. Is it going to bring him benefit or is it going to give him misery in the long run? So that's why he's asking about, he doesn't know what the Shreya is. And he says, Nishchitam Bruhitanme, you know for certain, so I'm surrendering onto you. So what is he doing? He is saying, I am your Shishya Steham. Sadimam Tvam Prapannam. Prapannam means I am surrendering onto you. So two things are important. We have to approach our well-wisher in all seriousness, and we have to give them our full attention on what the instructions they are giving. And it's not like we take the instructions and we don't follow. But of course, we have to approach our well-wisher. So if we don't, who is our well-wisher? Everyone has our own well-wisher, but there is one well-wisher who is common for all. Who is he?
Mother.
God.
Yeah, mother will be a well-wisher of your mother. My mother will be a well-wisher of mine, right? But who is the well-wisher for everyone? Is the
God.
Supreme Lord. Yes. So that's why if we approach the Supreme Lord, he knows. Our parents or our elders might know only our present lifetime, but the Supreme Lord knows our past lifetimes, what we did in the past. So if we approach him, he will give us the best solution, like in the sense like he will give us the best path forward to attain the perfection. So then Krishna starts speaking. Krishna says, "Oh Arjuna, like why are you overcome by this misery? Let me tell you what your fears are." So Krishna starts addressing each of the five reasons that Arjuna doesn't want to fight. The first thing he says is compassion. He doesn't want to kill anyone. Then Krishna says that, Arjuna, who are you? Who are you to say that you are killing someone? You are actually not killing anyone. And that's where the foundation of Sanatana Dharma is now introduced. When I say foundation, this is the concept that we all have to understand very clearly. And all of the schools of philosophy, whether it is Advaita, Dvaita, or Visishta Advaita, anything, any types of branches that are coming from Sanatana Dharma, whether it's Hinduism, Buddhism, Sikhism, Jainism, everything, this concept is the same, which is we are not the body, but our real identity is the soul. Anyone wants to read the verse? Or you can say after me, Dehinosmin yata dehe
Dehinosmin yatha dehe.
Kaumaram yavvanam jara.
Kaumaram yavvanam jara.
Tata dehantara praptir.
Tatha dehantara praptir.
Dhirastatra namuhyati.
Dhirastatra namuhyati.
Anyone wants to read the translation?
As the embodied soul continuously passes in his body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. The sober person is not bothered by a change.
Jai, what is your name?
Kartikeya.
Kartikeyan. Very nice. Thanks for reading. So here what we have to understand is, we all know that when we were born, our body is very small. When we grow up into a 3-4 year boy or girl, our body started growing. If you see here the diagram or the picture, so the body kept on increasing the size, and then it also starts dwindling and goes up. But the body that we have now, is it the same body that we had when we took birth?
No.
No.
The body that we have now, is it going to be saying exactly the same way after a few years?
No.
So then, if the body is not the same, what is the thing that we say it is me?
Soul.
Yeah, so someone, it looks like there is a disturbance. Someone is not able to hear properly. So if you are not speaking, maybe you can go on mute so others can pay attention. Give me 1 minute. Yeah, so if we are not, if our body is constantly changing, even science says, what does science say? Every few days, many of the cells in the body get replaced. Every few months, majority of them get replaced. Actually, every 14 years, even the most like cells that stay for a longer time also get replaced. Means our complete body is replaced. But what is that identity that we say that it is me?
Our soul.
Yes, our soul. It's called Dehinosmin, Dehino Asmin. So, which means that something that resides in the body. That is what we all need to establish. Our real identity is not this body. The body is, we'll see in the later verses, Krishna gives an analogy. So Krishna is saying, oh Arjuna, first of all, we have to understand we are not this body, but there is a soul within the body. That soul is the real identity. And even though the body keeps changing, that identity of us will never change. And he will start giving the characteristics of the soul. And this is why we call it as a foundation. And the soul is a comparison is given as just like a parrot is put inside a cage, a bird is put inside a cage. Our soul is encaged within the body. As long as we are encaged in the body, we will go through all this cycle of birth and death. More to come on this one, so but we'll continue. The next one is, what is the characteristics of that soul? What is the analogy of the soul and the body? Vasamsi jirnani yata vihaya.
Vasasmi.
Jirnani
Yata vidhaya.
Navani grunanti naroparani.
Navani grahanati naroparani.
Tata sharirani vihaya jirnani.
Tata
Sharirani
Anyani samyati navani dehi.
Anyani
Anyani
samyati
samyati navani dehi.
Anyone wants to read the translation?
As a person puts on new garments, giving up old ones, the soul similarly absents new materials body, tune up the old and useless ones.
Your name?
Dash. Dash Grande.
Oh, hey, Darsh, how are you?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna, Hare Krishna. Thanks for reading. So, what is the comparison? So, when we wear different clothes, right? We put on a jacket, and if that jacket is used up or it's torn, it becomes old, what do we do? We remove the jacket and wear a new one, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So if our jacket is torn up, do we feel sad, like, oh, we get attached? Oh, this jacket is very much torn. I don't want to leave this jacket. I want to wear this jacket only. Will it work?
No.
Because it doesn't do the duty anymore. The response, what it doesn't, it is not as useful anymore. It doesn't stop the cold, or it is torn somewhere. It doesn't work. So we have to keep changing. Similarly, just like we change the clothes, a jacket from one jacket to another, the soul also changed from one body to another. See the infinity here. So constantly it dies, reborn, dies, reborn. Even though it's mentioned as infinity, of course, it is infinity if we don't put any effort. If we just stay without doing anything, this cycle of birth and death will keep on repeating, repeating, repeating like this. But there is a option where we can break this cycle that we'll come discuss later. But analogy is that. And what is the characteristics of that soul? Our body is changing, but will the soul change? No. Does anyone wants to read the translation one each?
The soul can never be cut into pieces by any weapon, not by fire or moistened water, nor withered by the wind. This individual soul is unbreakable and insoluble and can be neither burned nor dried.
He is everlasting. Can you hear me? Hello? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, looks like we cannot hear you. Someone who is reading. Anyone wants to continue from here?
Yeah, I
He
can
is
continue. He is
yeah, go ahead.
everlasting, present everywhere, unchangeable, immovable, and eternally the same. It is said that the soul is invisible, inconceivable, and immutable. Knowing this, you should not grieve for the body.
Jai, thank you. What's your name?
Anu.
Oh, Haru Mataji, thank you for joining. So, what is the characteristic of the soul? The soul is immutable, means it doesn't change. It cannot be cut into pieces. It cannot be burned by fire. All the things that we can think of that something can be destroyed, it cannot destroy the soul. It cannot be moistened, it cannot be dissolved, it cannot be withered by wind. It is fire resistant, it is unbreakable, all those things. Why it is being mentioned, all those things is, we should not think that, okay, there is a concept of body and there is a concept of soul. Just like the body is deteriorating over time, and then maybe the soul will also deteriorate over a few millions of lives. No, soul will stay like that for time, eternally. The soul doesn't change. That individuality of the living entity will be there forever. The soul is a part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord is eternal, and we as the soul are also eternal. Okay? And the second concept that is established here is just there is a soul, and the soul we just read, right, as the body keeps changing. After death, the soul takes another body. And the second concept that is the common foundation for all of the Eastern schools of philosophy is reincarnation. So the concept of soul and the second concept is reincarnation. There are other philosophies or other religions that say that, okay, the soul will not reincarnate. At the time of death, it goes and stays with the body forever in the grave. And at the moment time comes, they say it's a judgment day, it wakes up and gets assessed. It can go to eternal heaven or eternal hell. No, that theory is negated there. The main thing is the soul is always active. It wants activity. there is never a time that the soul will remain dull. So if we say rest in peace, that doesn't work. The soul doesn't want that kind of resting in peace. It always wants activity. So when a body dies, it immediately takes another body. But if we want to wish someone better when they pass away, we can say that may the soul reach higher destinations, because we want that soul to be more and more active in the service of the Supreme Lord and make evolve to higher destinations. We don't want the soul to just sit there dull, because that's not the nature of the soul. The nature of the soul is always it wants activity and it wants to take one body after another. And even it's not like it want it. If you don't want it also, it will happen, because that's the real nature of the soul. And there is a lot of research done on reincarnation, and there were so many examples. There were books that were written. One of the um, scientist is like Ian Stevenson. I think he was a professor, and he in psychiatry he did a lot of research on 2000 cases, and he established that reincarnation is real. But of course, some people, if they agree to reincarnation, they have to agree to that Sanatana Dharma is correct, and their other religions will lose ground. So that's why they say that, oh, there is no reincarnation, but within the heart, they know that reincarnation is real. So essentially, what I'm saying is, yes, the second concept that is foundation is we are the soul, we are not the body, and the soul takes one body to another, uh, just like we change dresses. And a sober person is not bewildered by that aspect of it. And then Krishna is saying, once he establishes that, okay, Arjuna, the first thing is what? Compassion. And then he's saying that Arjuna is worried that he's going to kill someone. What does Krishna say? Arjuna, you are not killing anyone. All the kings that you see here, they have existed before, they are existing now, and they will continue to exist. So don't think that you are killing someone. It is you are only their body is getting killed. The soul will never die. The identity will always be there. Next one he's saying is no enjoyment. Arjuna thinks that he will not be able to enjoy kingdom and we know all things. And then there is fear of sinful reactions. But then Krishna, what he's saying, the next thing is, you don't worry about those. It is your duty as a Kshatriya to fight for righteousness, so for Dharma. And it is your duty to fight here. Don't worry about the sinful reactions and all, because we'll also discuss in chapter 3 that Krishna says, if you're actually not following your Dharma, you will get more sin. But if you're following your Dharma, you will not get any sin, even though you are killing the person. Then the question might arise, oh, Prabhu, then are you saying that we can kill someone? No, we are not Kshatriyas. We are, so there is the different categories of people in the society. We will also read in chapter 4. The caste system that we see now in India is not the Varna system that Krishna establishes. Because we'll discuss more, but essentially the summary is that the real Kshatriyas are not there in the society right now. If you are a Kshatriya, yes, if you are following the Kshatriya Dharma, then it is your right to protect the kingdom. Right now, we don't have any kingdoms, it's all democracy. So it is your, and then you can kill. But we are not Kshatriyas, so no, we are not supposed to kill. But in here, Arjuna is a Kshatriya, and he is standing on behalf in lot of things are stake, especially the goodness is at stake, the truth and dharma, which is what I was saying, righteousness is at stake. So it is his responsibility to fight. And this is one of the popular verses that people use to say that do your duty and don't expect any results. Karmanyevadikaraste
एवं
ma paleshu kadachana
मा फलेषु कदाचन
ma karma phala heturbhur
मा कर्मफलहेतुर्भूः
ma te sangostva karmani.
मा ते सङ्गोऽस्तु कर्मणि.
Anyone wants to read the translation?
You have a right to perform your pre- prescribed duty, but you are not entitled to fruits of action. Never
Consider yourself.
Consider
Consider.
Consider yourself the cause of the results of your activities and never be attached to doing your duty.
Not doing your duty.
Not doing your duty.
So what Krishna is saying is, you prepare well for your exams. You write the exam, don't worry about the grades. Don't think that, oh, exam might come tough. Oh, by the way, what's your name?
Prisma.
Prisma?
Yes.
Yeah, nice. Thanks for reading. So what he is saying is, Krishna, prepare well. Don't worry about the results. But the thing here is, you have to prepare very well the exams. Don't think that, oh, I will not prepare well. If you don't prepare well, then you will get bad grades. So we have to all prepare well. So for adults, the concept is, don't worry about whether you get the promotion where you are working or not. Do your duty. What we have right is that we have to perform the duty. Whether we get the results or not, it's not in our hands. If we keep on thinking that, oh, I did this, why I'm not getting the result, we'll read in chapter 13. There are so many factors, 5 factors that will decide what the result will come. And we get caught up saying that, oh, I did this great work, but why only I did not get the promotion? Because in the material world, everybody is looking for the same thing. There could be somebody else also looking for the same thing. And these 5 factors will tell later in the chapter that why, even though there is our effort, it went to somebody else because they might be more deserving based on other factors. So we have to just trust Krishna. What it's called Daiva Netrena. Based on the supervision of the Supreme Lord, the results will come. And we have to not hanker for the results. Our responsibility is to do our duty only. What we have in control is what we can do duty. दूरेण हि avaram karma
Dure avaram karma.
buddhi yoga dhananjaya
Bodhi yoga
Dhananjaya.
buddhau sharanam anvicha
Buddha
Sharanam
Anvicha.
kripana phalahetavaha.
Kripana phalahetavam.
Anyone wants to read the translation?
Oh, Dhananjana, keep all abominable activities far distant by devotional service, and in that consciousness surrender unto the Lord. Those who want to enjoy the fruits of their work are misers.
Misers. Yeah, thank you. What's your name?
Kartikeya.
Kartikeya. Oh, again, Kartikeya. Yeah, thanks for reading, Kartikeya. So what Krishna is saying is, if we follow the Buddhi Yoga. Buddhi Yoga means, I think somebody was asking about what are the, they want to understand why or how some of the Sanskrit words are translated into different forms. Here, the Buddhi Yoga is translated into devotional service because anything that is done with intelligence is ultimate. And we know from using intelligence, if we use really intelligence, we understand that the topmost form of yoga is Bhakti Yoga. That's why when it is said as Buddhi Yoga, we have to understand that it is devotional service only. It is not Karma Yoga, it is not Gnana Yoga, it is not Dhyana Yoga. Buddhi Yoga means Bhakti Yoga. So basically what Krishna is saying is, follow my instructions with full surrender onto me, but don't look for the results. If we are seeking results, if we are fighting to win, if you are hankering for that, then we are called misers. When if it is a miser, what happens is they will get what they will not get what they want, and they will also get bad things. So in here, we might be hankering for something, but we may not get the results. And on top of it, since we are so much striving for the results, we also get all the bad karma that is associated with the actions that we did. Okay. Prasade sarva dukkhanam
Prasade sarva dukkhanam.
hanir asyopajayate.
Asopajayate.
Prasanna chetaso hiyasu.
प्रसन्नचेतोयासु
Buddhi paryavastistate.
बुद्धिपर्यवतिष्ठते
Anyone wants to read the translation?
No. For one thus satisfied in Krishna consciousness, the threefold miseries of material existence exist no longer in such satisfied consciousness. One's intelligence is soon well established.
Thank you, Kartikeya. So what it is saying, Krishna is saying is, there are threefold miseries. Did we discuss about the threefold miseries? We discussed yesterday, right? There are, okay, maybe not in this class. So basically, everyone in this world has desires and difficulties. And what are the difficulties? There are two types of difficulties. One is called the klesha, or the threefold miseries, and the second one is called the bhavaroga. The first one is called klesha, which is called threefold miseries. Anyone who is in this material world will have miseries from three types of entities. One is called, anyone knows? Adhyatmik, Adi Bhautik, Adi Daivik. Adhyatmik means we all have a body. Atma means self. Self means the body, mind, everything. Our mind, our body will have so many problems, like it starts getting old, it has like some diseases like that. And our mind will create so many theories, or it make up so many scenarios and say, what if this happens? What if tomorrow I lose my job? That it will create so many anxieties. That is all the anxieties that we get from our self only. The second one is Adi Bhautik. We are in the society. In this society, there are so many people around us. And all of them will also create, even if in the family or children or spouse, they also create some miseries for us. And finally, there is Adi Daivik. Things that we are not, things that are not in our control. Suddenly, there could be a tornado, there could be earthquake, there could be a hurricane, there could be floods. All those things are not in control. Those are called the threefold miseries. If we surrender onto the Supreme Lord and fully does devotional service, these threefold miseries will not impact us. Meaning that it's not that they will go away, but we will not be impacted. The analogy that is given is, if you are going on a road, there are a lot of potholes, speed bumps, and all. You can, if you are going in a car that is very old or it doesn't have nice shock absorbers, you will feel the shake, you will feel the rocking, you will feel going back and forth. Sometimes you hit on the side of the car and you feel pain. But if you are going in a car that has nice shock absorbers and you don't feel any movement inside, so same thing. We might be going through the same life, but those things that are happening around us will not have any impact on us if we take up the process of devotional service, Krishna consciousness, because we are always fully satisfied in doing the Krishna consciousness, that other things seem to be very minor. Think about it. If one problem might be a big problem for someone, might not be a big problem for other person. But if you know, if your goal is bigger, do you care about the smaller problems? Let's say you are running a marathon, right? And then you slipped and you fell, but nothing really big happened. A scratch happened on your knee. Do you get up and start running, or do you feel, oh, why did I fall? My knee is scratching. Like, or you sit there and feel misery, or what do you do?
Get up and
You
start
get
running.
up and run, right? So it becomes small problem. And sometimes if their focus is so strong that to complete the marathon, even though it is bleeding hard, you don't really worry about it. And so that's the thing. When we have a bigger goal in life, when we understand what is the real purpose of life, all the things that happen around us seem to be very minor. But if we don't have that goal in life, every small problem appears to be a huge problem for us, and we get bogged down by that, and we always face anxiety and miseries in our life. And in chapter 2, Krishna also gives the example of somebody called as Sthita Pragna. Means a person. Arjuna asks, okay, Krishna, you are saying about a person who uses intelligence and he does all those devotional service. Who is that person? What is the example of that person? And from the scriptures, we can see that there is a person called Ambarish Maharaj, who is a very great example of a Sthita Pragna, where they engage 24 hours of their time in the service of the Supreme Lord only, doing their duty. He is a king. He uses his time to rule the kingdom nicely. He uses his time and effort, his energy to build temples. He goes to the temple. He does archana there. He wishes all the devotees who are coming there. Even though he was a king, he will serve prasadam. He will sweep the floor. And he takes, if the footwear is not arranged properly, he will arrange them properly. So he engages every sense, every 24 hours he has in the service of the Supreme Lord and in the service of the devotees only. So, but of course, if we are in LKG or kindergarten, we cannot go to 10th grade directly, right? So we have to go step by step. So that is the ultimate goal that we are seek for, which is always engaged in the service of the Supreme Lord. But we have to take step by step towards it, which we will, Bhagavad Gita will give us the process and how to become that kind of Sthita Pragna. Means Sthita means fully established. Pragna means who is intelligent. Their intelligence is fully established in the Supreme, so they are not deviated from anywhere. And those are the main topics discussed here, which is Krishna summarizes, which is, uh, give me 1 minute. What are the other topics? Yeah, so main thing those, which is the concept of soul and body is called Sankhya Yoga, because Krishna is dissecting anything that we go into the philosophy. It is called Sankhya, wherein here Krishna is telling the distinction between body, soul, and all. And the next one is called, he's establishing what is the dharma. He's saying, Arjuna, as for your dharma, you have to fight, don't worry about sinful reactions. Then he is giving example of Sthita Prajna. And what is the Sthita Prajna do? He uses intelligence. Intelligence means Buddhi Yoga. Buddhi Yoga means to always engage in the service of the Supreme Lord, so we don't be affected by the threefold miseries of the Supreme of this life. Any questions before we wrap today's session?
So, Prabhuji, in second chapter, out of 5 questions of Arjuna, Krishna answered for 3 of them, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
He will continue on the third one in the chapter 3 also, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I think in chapter 3, he gives answers for, I think, yeah, in chapter 3, all 5 are answered. And then he goes on to describe more about the duty and all those aspects. So just like we eat food for the strength of the body, what can we do to strengthen our soul? So we have to do some activity that the soul likes.
Pray,
Meditation, okay, anything that is in relation to the Supreme Lord, the soul will enjoy. But we are under ignorance. So that's why we don't know what is the real thing. We are always thinking that, okay, maybe watching a movie will give me pleasure, or playing something will give me pleasure. But the thing is, those are all temporary benefits. In the scriptures, the word is used called punah charvita charvanana, means, let's say you take a piece of sugar cane, you chew it for a long time, all the juice is over. Then you take it out, put it outside for some time, and again you start chewing it after an hour or two. Initially, there will be some little sweetness you can perceive, but again it becomes bland. You keep doing that, it repeats. But the same thing is mentioned about the pleasures that we enjoy here. We might be, and that's why we are not at all satisfied, where we constantly keep on hankering for more, like that. And if we do the activities that the soul likes, which is chanting, you said meditation, and all those things, meditation in the sense when we are focusing constantly on the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, then the soul will feel that real Shreya, means happiness, and that will be permanent. And other thing that is mentioned is Swalpamipi asya dharmasya trayate mahato bayat. In chapter 2 it is mentioned, means you can become a great doctor in the material world. You can become a great engineer. You can become a great scientist. But once the body is gone, you again take another body. You have to start from A, B, C, D. All the things that you have achieved in this life will become zero. All the things that we have achieved in the material uh, point of view, uh, we can raise a big family. We can have so many kids who can be great doctors. We can get name, fame, everything. Everything becomes zero when the body is gone. Nobody knows where we'll be born again. And we have to start again from E or ABCD, whichever country we were born. But Swalpamapi asya dharmasya, even if you do a little activity in the spiritual platform, which is chanting or meditation on the Supreme Personality of Godhead in His lotus feet, that will not be gone. It will carry over from life after life after life. So some people might ask, you came empty-handed and you're going empty-handed. Yes, from the material gross standpoint, you are not bringing anything gross. You're not bringing anything physical into the world, but not taking anything physical. But on the subtle platform, we are coming into this material world with a huge baggage of karma. And when we are leaving this this body, we are also taking with us a huge baggage of karma. But if we take this devotional service, that baggage will be removed. And if we do these activities in the Kartik month, it will be much more beneficial. It will remove those bad karma from our baggage thousands and thousands of times. We are not like this. This is not our first or second lifetime to think that we have been taking this life from millions of lifetimes. So we have so much karma that is there. We have to wipe that off, and only then we'll be able to get the liberation. And the easiest way to do it is, if we put our own effort, it takes lifetimes after lifetimes. But if we take the help of a Supreme Lord who is all powerful, he can do that in one lifetime. So that's why we all chant in this Kali Yuga. It is said that Harir Nama, Harir Nama, Harir Namaiva Kevalam, Kalau Nasteva, Nasteva, Nasteva Gatiranyata. Means in this age of Kali, there is no other means of deliverance. There is no other means of deliverance. There is no other means of deliverance other than the holy name of the Lord, holy name of the Lord, holy name of the Lord. Here, everything, when we say something once, more than once, it means it is stressed the importance. Here, in this verse, it is stressed 3 times, different aspects. Total 9 times. It is mentioned that holy name is the only means of deliverance repeatedly. So that's why in this age we chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and one lifetime is enough for us to go back home, back to Godhead. Any questions? Did anyone order the Bhagavad Gita book and the kit, the Japa beads? You know how to order? I can send you the link where you can order from. But I recommend that please, in the month of Kartik, get a personal copy of Bhagavad Gita and start reading. So many people have transformed their life by reading Bhagavad Gita. Not just Indians, everybody. Okay. Any questions from anyone? Okay. If no questions, we'll all say Hare Krishna Maha Mantra 3 times, and we'll do 5 times, and then we'll close today's session. Okay. Please say along with me. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. भगवान श्री कृष्ण परमात्मा की जय।
जय।
ग्रंथराज भगवत गीता की जय।
जय।
श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। ऑल गुरु श्री
जय।
कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण, ऑल गुरु श्री वैष्णव।
हरे कृष्ण।
थैंक यू एवरीवन। हरे कृष्णा।
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी। थैंक यू प्रभु जी।
हरे कृष्णा। थैंक यू।